Hello everyone. Welcome to Learn and Shine. Today's story is about childhood, school memories, and a father's journey through time. This is a story about a dad who tells his children about his school days, the fun, the challenges, and the life lessons he learned. At first, it's just a family talk. But soon, the children begin to see their dad in a new way. If you love stories from real life, gentle emotions, and easy English, this one is for you. Let's begin. It was a rainy Sunday afternoon. The sky was gray, and the wind was soft. Emily and Max were sitting on the carpet, building a tall tower with blocks. Their dad sat on the couch, sipping warm tea. "Daddy," said Max, "what was school like when you were little?" Their dad smiled. He looked out the window and thought for a moment. "School was very different back then," he said. "Tell us a story, please," said Emily. She loved stories, especially stories from real life. "All right," Dad said. He put down his cup and sat closer to them. "I'll tell you about the first day of school, my best friend, and the biggest snowball fight we ever had." The children clapped their hands. "Yay! Story time! I was 6 years old when I started school," Dad began. "I remember wearing a blue jacket and carrying a big backpack. It was almost as big as me." "Were you scared?" asked Max. "A little," Dad said. "But I was also excited. I had never been in a big building with so many children before. My teacher's name was Mrs. Carter. She had short gray hair and a kind smile. But she could be very strict too." "What was the classroom like?" asked Emily. "There were wooden desks, big windows, and a chalkboard. We didn't have computers. We used books, pencils, and paper. Every morning we stood up and said, 'Good morning, Mrs. Carter.' Did you have a best friend?" Max asked. "Yes," said Dad. "His name was Tommy. He had curly hair and always wore a red cap. We walked to school together every day. Even when it snowed, we walked." "Wow," said Emily. "I ride the bus." "We didn't have a school bus in my town," said Dad. "So we put on boots, scarves, and big jackets. Sometimes the snow was so deep it reached our knees." "What did you do at school?" asked Max. "We had reading, writing, math, and science," said Dad. "But we also had art and music. I loved music class. I played the recorder. Not very well, but I tried. One day," Dad continued, "I forgot my homework at home. I was so nervous." Mrs. Carter asked, "Where is your homework, young man?" I looked down and said, "I forgot it." She said I had to stay in during recess to do it again. "Oh no," said Max. "Did you cry?" "No," said Dad with a laugh. "But I wanted to. I worked fast so I could still play outside for a few minutes." "What games did you play?" asked Emily. "We played tag, soccer, and hide and seek. Sometimes we made up our own games. There was a big oak tree in the yard. That was our base. If you touched the tree, you were safe." "That sounds fun," said Max. "One winter," said Dad, "we had a huge snowstorm. School was closed for 5 days. My friends and I built the biggest snow fort ever." "Like a castle?" asked Emily. "Yes," said Dad. "It had 4 walls and a secret tunnel. We had snowball battles. Our gloves were always wet, and our noses were red, but we were so happy." "What was your favorite subject?" Max asked. "I liked art," said Dad. "I loved drawing and painting. One time my drawing won a prize. It was a picture of my dog, Buddy. I still have it somewhere." Can we see it later? Emily asked. Of course, Dad smiled. What about tests? Asked Max. Were they hard? Yes, sometimes, said Dad. Especially math. But I studied with Tommy. He was good at numbers. He helped me learn in fun ways. He used candy to teach me counting. Emily laughed. Candy math. That's the best kind. Exactly, said Dad. He would say, if you have 5 jelly beans and eat 2, how many are left? And then we would eat the answer. Did anything bad ever happen? Emily asked softly. Yes, said Dad. One time, a boy named Mark was being bullied. Some bigger boys took his lunch. He was very sad. I told Mrs. Carter. She talked to the boys and helped Mark. After that, we all sat together during lunch. That was kind of you, said Max. I learned that standing up for others is important, said Dad. Even if it's hard. Tell us more, said Emily. Well, said Dad, there was also the school play. I had to sing in front of the whole class. I was so nervous my knees shook. What did you sing? Max asked. A song about friendship, said Dad. At first, I sang very quietly. But then I looked at my teacher. She smiled and mouthed the words. You can do it. So I took a deep breath and sang from my heart. Did they clap? Asked Emily. Yes, Dad said with a smile. They clapped and cheered. It was one of the best days of my school life. Were you ever late to school? Max asked. Oh yes, said Dad. One day I missed the alarm. I ran the whole way with one shoe untied. When I got to class, everyone laughed. But Mrs. Carter just said, better late than never. Did you have lunch at school? Asked Emily. Yes, I brought lunch in a metal box. It had sandwiches, an apple, and a small cookie. We all sat on benches and shared stories. Did you ever get in trouble? Max asked. Once, said Dad. Tommy and I made paper airplanes and flew them in class. One hit Mrs. Carter's desk. She gave us extra reading homework that day. Did you like school? Asked Emily. Most of the time, said Dad. Sometimes it was hard. But I had good friends, kind teachers, and fun memories. What happened to Tommy? Asked Max. We stayed friends for many years, said Dad. He moved away after high school, but we still talk sometimes. He's a math teacher now. Did you have any pets? Asked Emily. Yes, said Dad. Buddy, my dog. He waited for me every day after school. He would wag his tail and bark when I came home. Did he come to school? Max asked. Only once, said Dad, laughing. He followed me without me knowing. I heard barking during math class. I looked out the window, and there he was. Did the teacher get mad? Asked Emily. No, said Dad. She laughed. She said, Buddy wants to learn too. What else do you remember? Asked Max. I remember the last day of school, said Dad. We all signed each other's notebooks. We sang songs and had ice cream. It was happy and a little sad. Why sad? Emily asked. Because it was the end of a chapter, said Dad. I would miss my friends and teachers. The children sat quietly for a moment. Then Emily said, I want to have stories like that too. You will, said Dad. Every day at school is a new story. Will you tell us more tomorrow? Max asked. Of course, said Dad. I have many stories to share. They all smiled. Outside, the rain had stopped. A rainbow appeared in the sky. Thank you for listening to our story today. Stories from the past can teach us so much about kindness, courage, and growing up. Did this story remind you of your own school days or your family stories? This story helped you practice English at beginner level, learn new words in context, feel the joy of storytelling. Share with us. What is your favorite school memory? Write it in the comments. If you liked the story, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to Learn and Shine for more real English stories every week. See you in the next story.